Hi, so real quick I'm going to go over how to write a program or a function, mainly a function, with your TI-89 so you can use it later like on a test or something. Uh, Here I have two forms of the quadratic equation. I have the standard form, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I have the plus and the minus form, since I know it gives two answers. And then here, since I'm in the middle of differential equation, I thought this would be a good contrast, where b is equal to b minus a. And so I thought this would be a real interesting way to do it, to kind of show you, because it will yield you two different answers, and I wanted to show you how those two different answers will show up inside of your TI-89. So real quick, go to your apps. You're going to hit your app button. Go to Program Editor. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating a new program. And I say program, but I really mean you're going to create a new function. Functions are a lot easier to write, and they take up a lot less time to use. So the variable name is, this is the name you're going to give the function that you're going to use, that you're going to call, or that you're going to type in whenever you want to use this particular function. So this one I'm going to call quad ELR, right? And for those of you that are using your fingers to type this in, use your alpha key, and here's all of your letters. I'm not going to go through that. You could probably get all that, on your own. So this is the name I'm going to use. Variable is going to be quad ELR. I'm going to hit enter twice, and it'll bring me to this next menu, which is going to have the name of my function and then the parentheses here. So inside these parentheses, this is where you're going to put what your input is. So for instance, because you're going to have a function of a, b, and c, like you see here, that's exactly what you're going to put. A, comma, b, comma, c, right? Okay, and so I'm going to make an extra line here. I'll tell you why here in a minute. But because I'm going to need to output two answers, okay, I'm going to have to tell the calculator that there's going to be more than one answer. And the way I can do that, one of the ways I can do that, is I can say, use these squiggly brackets. So I'm going to hit squiggly bracket, comma, close squiggly bracket. And so now right here in between the commas and the squiggly brackets, those are where both of my answers, both of my calculations are going to go. And so here in this first one, I'll put the plus, and then here I'll put the minus, right? Because plus or minus, right? So I'm going to say, and I'm going to do this real quickly. I'm going to use my keyboard, but if you're doing this by hand, you'll have to manually put it in. Negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, close parenthesis, divided by, open parenthesis, 2 times a. And now, I'm sorry, 2 times a. So now this is where it gets tricky. You're going to have to understand your order of operations. Parentheses are going to be your best friend. My suggestion to you is, when you're in doubt and you want it to happen first, just put another parenthesis in there. One thing that it can happen is it can get really hairy with a bunch of parentheses, so you can get carried away, and it'll kind of error out if you have too many or one less parenthesis than you should. Just be careful when you're doing that. So here I have my first one, my plus part of the quadratic equation for just the regular quadratic equation. And I'll show you why I'm putting the regular quadratic equation in later. So I basically just want to create a copy of this, because I just want to change that plus value. So I'm going to hold the shift key, right? And if you're doing it by hand, you're going to hold this key right here. This is your shift key. You're going to just hold it down and press these arrows to go into the direction that you want to select the text. So I'm holding the shift key. You'll see right here how this arrow popped up. You'll see the same thing on yours if you're holding the shift key. And I'm just going to move over, right? And I want to stop there. So I want a diamond copy, right? So after I do that, I'll just use my arrows, right, to go here to this point after the comma, remember. Then I want to diamond paste, and so there you see it put all of the same information down again. Now I just want to change that plus to a minus, so I'm going to delete the plus. I'm going to put a minus in there. And there you have it. There's just the regular quadratic equation in there. Now, so if I went to use this right now, it would give me these values of -1 and -2 for these A, B, C coefficients here. Okay? But we don't want that. We want it to be the Cauchy-Euler form. We want B to equal B minus A. Okay? So I wanted to do this to show you this is a real quick way to reset your variables inside of your program if your variables are related in any way to your initial input values, which in this case mine are. So I want to say B minus A. I'm sorry. I did it in the wrong window. Excuse me. I want to say B minus A. And then I'm going to use this store button right here. I'm going to store that as the new B. Okay? So after this line, B is no longer just B from the original input. B is now equal to whatever B is minus whatever A is. Okay? So you'll see that here, and that's only for inside this function. So when you use that, you say, okay, now this is done, so now B here should be B minus A, just like in this. Okay? So now we're going to test it to see if it works. Now, the first inclination you want to do is you're going to want to try to save this by going up to Tools and hitting Save or Save As Copy. You don't need to do that. All you have to do is just get out of it. It's going to save it for you. And I know it's kind of weird, but you just don't have to save it. So I'm going to click this Home button here since I'm done writing the function. So I'm going to go back to Home. Now I can either painstakingly use my alpha key and go back and type everything in here, but don't do that. That's a slow way of doing it. Go to your catalog. Under your catalog, you're going to have user-defined stuff here under the F4 key. So catalog, and then hit F4, and then it's going to show you, say, hey, look, I just wrote that one, and it's in the main folder. So I'm going to scroll down to that one. I'm going to hit Enter, and now I can use my Cauchy-Euler quadratic equation. So just to see if it works, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say, and this gives me a non-real solution. I don't want a non-real solution. I want something else. Let me try something else here. I want to go to where it's going to give me a real solution. No, not that one. Let's try... No. It's giving me a lot of unreal solutions. Let me try 5 and 3 here. Okay, well, let's see if it'll work with it. So I'm going to try 5, 3, and 10. Okay, 5, 3, and 10. And it tells me I get a non-real result, but it did the calculation. So I'm going to try 1, 0, and -2. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do 1, 0, and -2. So I'm going to come in here real quick. 1, 0, and -2. And hey, look, it pops out both of my solutions, 2 and -1. So again, if we try to do that with the quadratic equation by itself, we get something totally different. And so I'll show you, because I have the quadratic equation already in memory, it's just called quad. I'm going to show you how it is different. And so we know that when we reset that variable b minus a, we reset it as b, it did do what we told it to do. That's how we got these two different values. And so that's kind of the short of it. If you have any more questions, give me a call. All right, bye.